Chapter 8 POV, Site Director, Dr. Jean Carlisle Actus. I always thought I was going to die in a massive containment breach. Well, not always. I began to think like that shortly after I became the director of Site 81. The O5 gave me some classified files of what a worst-case scenario looked like for a site. The video logs of what happened to Site 35 still haunted me to this day. As I watched SCP-12725 bend reality to its will, folding space in ways that hurt to look at, I began to think that maybe I was going to die to just one containment breach, not a massive one. The way it walked through every blockade, downed every one of my men without even lifting a finger. The calm way in which it bypassed every contingency plan Site 81 had made me nervous. I was watching a massacre. Men after men fell as he walked by them. I had hoped that in a breach scenario Dr. Clef would deal with it easily. The man had a reputation so big it was a mystery how he still was only a doctor. The way SCP-12725 dispatched him in under a minute said everything I needed to know about how I would die. The thaumaturgy personnel could not even do anything against it. The moment Dr. Clef started yelling into his radio and then lost connection was the moment everyone of the thaumaturgy branch collapsed. We were not sure what happened to Clef since the red flash that occurred in the common SCP hallway had fried the camera. The thaumaturgy personnel, though, they were suffering at the moment all right. Most seemed to show symptoms similar to what an exposure to large amounts of radiation would show. I had never seen an SCP so brazenly waltz through a site. I had seen some massacre their way out. Their movements were erratic and they lost composure as soon as the opposition started to increase in magnitude. SCP-12725 seemed to enjoy its stroll through the facility while posing at cameras whenever one was pointed at it. That gave me a little bit of hope. 12725 was also seen walking with an assistant researcher before and after its confrontation with Clef, so maybe it did not kill everyone it came in contact with. It still bothered me how it was walking straight towards me though. Every single site was built to be a maze. This was supposed to be an additional measure to give the Foundation more time in case a breakout happened. As always, type greens were utter bullshit. When the doors to my office opened and 12725 entered, I finished sending my message to the O5. Site 81 was going to stop existing very soon, might as well give them a heads up. So you are the director. Nice to meet you. The red-haired being talked, and I felt its attention concentrate on me. So this was the pressure the researchers were talking about. It did not feel as debilitating as they made it sound. I came here to introduce myself. If you could tell your guards to stop trying to kill me I would appreciate it. Hello 12725. Its eyebrow twitched. I would have appreciated it if you hadn't massacred your way into my office. This time its eyebrows rose. I mean, if you want to call that a massacre I guess you can. Dr. Clef was the only person who actually managed to stop me, even if only momentarily. Though I have to point out that I have not killed anyone. What? I checked the cameras and found most of the guards beginning to stand back up. I also saw a very pissed Dr. Clef running towards us only in his underwear. I breathed a sigh of relief. My boat was not sinking today it seemed. I looked back at 12725, matching his green gaze with my own. What do you want 12725? 12725 now looked pissed. The air suddenly felt heavy, my vision blurred, and I think my breathing quickened. Maybe the researchers did describe it correctly. Mr. Gabriel, you are doing it again. The disheveled assistant researcher that had been following 12725 spoke, and I finally noticed his presence. The look 12725 gave him made me think I was hallucinating. He looked sheepish. Sorry about that Connor. I'm just beyond annoyed from being called 12725. So, Connor and Gabriel had to keep that in mind. Gabriel, what did you hope to accomplish by taking on Site 81 by your lonesome? What is your goal? The idea of bending over for an SCP made me sick to my stomach, but I'd rather do that than lose Site 81. Well, I've been asking for a TV or a phone for about a month and a half now. Where are they? What the fuck? Eugene told me he was going to look into it and ask you for permission, and nothing has come out of it. I haven't even been told no. Was my request just ignored? We usually don't approve any request an SCP asks for. Connor told him. It's dangerous and could result in the death of a lot of personnel. Huh? How could giving me a TV end in the death of people? Well, Maybe not you specifically, but there are some SCPs out there whose powers are very weird. There was once this case of one guy, we called him the intruder, that could walk into and out of TVs. When we gave him one, he escaped pretty much immediately. 12,725 looked dumbfounded at Connor. In all my years of interacting with SCPs, this had to be the weirdest interaction of them all. But, how would I even replicate that? It makes no sense. The Foundation doesn't like bets. If we can avoid any incident, we try to. Well, not exactly. The Foundation also had some risk takers. It was just safer to not take them at containment facilities. SCP-12725, I will ask again, what are your goals? I interrupted their conversation. And the pressure was going up again, at least until Dr. Connor poked 12,725 in his ribs. Director, please call Mr. Gabriel. Well, Gabriel. He gets moody otherwise. Hey, what's up with the attitude? You call me Mr. and then proceed to slander me. I don't know what you are talking about, Mr. Gabriel. POV Gabriel, the little shit, knew what he was doing. The director, though, he looked like he didn't know what to do about the situation. Was it so hard to believe I just wanted some entertainment? I sighed. Look, director, I do not enjoy being ignored. Ever since I made the deal with the devil wannabe, I have been very patient with the Foundation. Can I just get some of the stuff I've asked for? I am not interested in leaving the site right now, or destroying it, or causing death and destruction. I certainly don't want to spend the rest of my life running away from your agency's constant harassment, so just be a bit more lenient with me. I am trying to find a middle ground with you. I get some entertainment, you get to keep an eye on me. How about it? The director looked like he was done with everything. He was about to say something when Clef barreled through the door and slammed into Connor. As both of them fell down, the director just sank more into his chair. We don't negotiate with SCPs, Clef argued. Wasn't the phrase "we do not negotiate with terrorists"? I just want something to pass the time. Come on, haven't I proven myself trustworthy enough by now? Proven yourself trustworthy? When the hell did you do that? While I was unconscious. It was just Dr. Clef, the director, and me in the office now. Connor had been told politely to return to his lab where the rest of the scientists were bunkering at. Well, I didn't kill anyone on my way here. The only collateral there has been on the whole site was damage done by your guards and yourself, Dr. Clef. The director looked ready to die. He had that dead-eye look many college students had on test week. What about my awesome uniform, huh? I poured sweat and blood into it. Literally. Huh. Okay, I admit I did destroy that. In my defense, you are a difficult person to fight against, Clef. Your uniform made it much harder. So you just want a TV and a cell phone. Ah, the director was finally seeing reason. And he finally spoke too. If I could also get a PC, I would be eternally grateful. The director sighed a very drawn-out sigh. He leaned forward and looked at me in the eye. You will be given these amenities on the condition of you never breaking out again. Was he serious? If that was his best offer, I will be very unimpressed. No, while the cell is nice and all, Dr. Clef's arm twitched in a way that made me think he wanted to punch me again but was refraining from doing so. That was a good thing, since the last time he did, he almost broke his wrist on my face. I will eventually want to go out again. The idea of staying in a dinky cell with no human interaction, no food, and no diversity sounds very unappealing. And what do you propose then? That we let you roam around? Clef asked. His tone was clipped. I could continue helping y'all with whatever. The idea of getting to know more SCP is appealing. What does SCP stand for anyway? I deliberately ignored Clef and looked at the director. Clef was funny to rile up. It stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect, Gabriel. The director's tone was as dead as his eyes. Sweet, so how about it? Will ya let me secure, contain, and protect some mofos? I could help them a lot. I was pretty sure I could deal with most SCP at my current strength, and since I would continue to grow stronger, eventually I could get rid of most, and not all, of the dangers in the world. No, they both answered. Incident 12725-1//SCP-12725 managed to escape containment by expanding the space between the door and the floor of his cell by over 1,000 times. Site-81 was immediately on high alert, and all personnel available were prepared to capture 12,725 again. SCP-12725 meanwhile proceeded to Interrogate Assistant Researcher Connor Thomas Miller. Dr. Alto Clef advanced towards SCP-12725 before all the available forces were ready and confronted SCP-12725 by himself. In the preceding fight, Dr. Alto Clef was knocked unconscious and left in the corridor where the fight occurred. Note: Dr. Alto lost his uniform number 51. SCP-12725 continued his advance, helped by Assistant Researcher Connor Thomas Miller, towards the Site Director, Dr. Jean Carlisle Actus office. The forces amassed were completely ineffectual against SCP-12725 as he somehow managed to knock out any opposition before it had any chance of doing anything. It is believed that SCP-12725 was made aware of its aura, and proceeded to weaponize it. When SCP-12725 ultimately arrived before the Director, he asked the Director why were his requests ignored and requested them again. See File 12725-AM to see every object SCP-12725 has asked for so far. When Dr. Clef woke up, he rushed towards the Director's office. Between him and the Director they negotiated with 12,725. Redacted has locked the rest of the log. Audio log-12725I3 He is coming. One of the guards screamed as he saw SCP-12725 round a corner. Open F. At this moment every guard in the room was suddenly unconscious and dropped to the floor. Audio log-12725I6 Everyone retreat. We must get out of its radius. Get out of he voice cuts off as SCP-12725 passes through corridor number 52. Addendum 12725-7 SCP-12725 has been shown to rapidly become annoyed if referred to as such. Recommendation: when dealing with 12725, never call him 12725. SCP-12725 is not bothered by nicknames or by the usage of its name. SCP-12725 believes itself to be trustworthy because it has so far been cooperating with the Foundation, and has not killed anyone yet. SCP-12725 may look at his actions as something the Foundation should be grateful for. SCP-12725 seems to enjoy making Dr. Clef annoyed. And now, I really did not think I could write something on the level of Chapter 7 again, so I decided to cool down the story a little. Also, I've been itching to give Gabriel a nickname, you know, like how SCP-096 is called Shy Guy and SCP-173 is Peanut. The issue is, I don't want an edgy Chuyunibu name. So, please comment whatever you think would be a good name. I can't come up with any. P.S. Either my omacs are trash or some y'all ain't reading them cause the amount of likes they get compared to chapters is so low it's sad. Go read them, I demand you read them. They may not be impactful to the story, but I use them to try and branch out with how I will develop Gabriel. Some criticism or just your opinion of them would help me a lot. If any of y'all finds a spelling mistake, has questions, has some criticism, or whatever, please leave a comment. I enjoy reading them. Thanks for reading. Chapter 9 Entering my new cell, I took in everything it had. There was a bed that looked more comfier than the one I had before. There was also a table and a chair. My new computer sat on top of the chair and my phone was laid next to it. I had been moved to Site 19 since I was too dangerous and Site 19 would be better equipped to handle me. I doubted that was the case, but I got what I wanted, so I would continue to play ball with the Foundation. At least for the time being. As soon as I figure out teleportation, my ass will be out of here. The ride here had been somewhat interesting. Since I had taken all of Site 81 by myself, a lot of the guards in the convoy with me were very tense. Most looked like they thought I was about to kill them all, or take this chance to escape. I sat down on the bed and started thinking about how my negotiation with Mr. Carlisle had gone. I was pretty sure the man wanted to retire, and if he didn't before, he sure looked like he wanted by the time we finished. A knock-knock sound drew my attention to the only door in the room. Come in, I yelled. It was nice to finally have visitors. I feel pretty dumb about not noticing that my presence choked everyone around me if not contained. The Foundation had been treating me better since my talk with the Director. I liked the fact that they knocked on the door before coming into my room. It would be embarrassing if they walked in while I was practicing my JoJo poses. What is that? Why am I posing, you say? Well, I had to know how to look stylish when I got out of here. Actually, I was just hoping there were cameras inside my cell. I wanted to freak out at least one poor bastard. The door opened and in walked a man in an orange jumper. He looked at me, then at my room, and then at a small walkie-talkie strapped to his chest. Hey, why does this guy get a computer and actual clothes and I only get this orange onesie and weed? This guy had the biggest balls I had ever seen on anybody. Connor, you know we only give you the weed when you actually do your job. Stop complaining and begin the interview please. The listening device on Connor's ear sounded pretty crisp. Maybe I should also have asked for some earbuds? Alright, well let's see. He checked his notepad as the door closed behind him. Okay Gabriel, my name is Connor. I am here to conduct an interview. With you? How are you Connor? Do you want to listen to some music with me? The foundation just gave me a phone, and I want to see how good the sound system is. Insist on the interview. We don't have all day. Heartless, they are heartless. Look man, don't take this the wrong way but I just want to do the interview and leave. Connor looked very nonplussed at the moment. Really, you don't even want me to tell you how I managed to escape from Site 81 armed with nothing but my hands? Oh, hey, that is actually one of the questions I was asked to ask you. Oh well, I won't tell you about it then. Wait, why? Because I want to talk to you and if I do tell you about the escape you will leave sooner. He groaned, dropping his face into his hands. Finey, I'll listen to some music with you if you agree to start talking to me about what is on this notepad. I hummed. My first real human interaction in a while and it was with a moody D-class. Fine, is there anything you want to listen to? I dunno, I have never listened to music before. That stopped me cold. How had this guy never listened to music before? How have you never listened to music before? It is literally impossible. It is one of the few things every single culture has. I don't know about those cultures man. I was raised here at the foundation and music has never come up in conversation. Fuck that was depressing. He had been living in the foundation since he was little. Come Connor, I will teach you about the beauty of music. Connor, please Connor took out his earbud and sat down next to me on my bed as I opened what looked like a music app on my new phone. Fuck yeah, want some weed? He took out a blunt from the breast pocket on his onesie. Nah, I don't smoke. You do you. The speaker in my room turned on. Hi Gabriel. So, my name is Aurelia. I am part of the thaumaturgy branch. My group is tasked with trying to understand type greens. Her voice had an accent to it. We have been studying you from afar for quite some time Gabriel. Would you be willing to let us do some more intrusive research? I decided her accent was nice. Still, no I won't let you stick something into me. Unless there was a medical reason I would not let anything get into me. Now that I thought about it, I would never have to go to a medic again. That is alright, would you let us do some testing with you then? Like, recording you while you do whatever you do. She sounded meek, maybe asking that question was embarrassing. Hey, were you at Site 81 while I was there? She mentioned she had been observing me for a while. That meant that for whatever reason they finally asked permission to do some research on me. Yes, I am yes. Sorry I mean yes. I'm sorry, please. Give me a minute. And she went silent. What was that about? I decided to indeed give her a minute. She sounded out of breath. Maybe she came running towards the observational room. I am sorry for the delay. I was just taking a moment to compose myself. It's quite alright Dr. Aurelia. I must ask though, what do you want to test first? Well, if the foundation is not wrong, you have been made aware of your aura. Yes, I indeed have. Was the reason I had no visitors at Site 81 because of it? That is indeed the reason behind your isolation Gabriel. Actually, if you could contain it more, would you please do it? Being close to you has proven strenuous but not impossible since you started closing the lid on the pressure. Your attention being on me though, is making it much harder to remain conscious. What? Were these people for real? I was really putting a lot of conscious effort into maintaining all my soul inside of my body. Why the fuck would a soul occupy space and not fold itself over itself like the fourth dimensional thing it was is beyond me. Really? I am already directing a lot of my attention to not letting my soul out. How did I know it was my soul and not some random thing connected to me? Because I literally felt it. Please, she pleaded. I sighed and put on more locks around my soul. It felt limiting. I felt diminished doing this. It was uncomfortable. Maybe I could get used to it? Until I did though, this was going to have to be enough. I was not into chaining my metaphysical self for the comfort of some random mage. Does your connection to magic make it harder to be around strong beings? Not exactly. Strong being is too general of a term. It is around beings with strong presences that we have difficulties with. So because you can feel souls, mine being so big is somehow waiting on yours. She sounded surprised. What, did she really think I was that ignorant about magical concepts? If my first world fanfiction didn't do anything to make me aware of them, then many of the conspiracy theories and actual fiction on this world had filled me in on how magic fundamentally worked. Well, since my soul seems so much bigger than everyone I've met so far, I supposed that it was the reason behind the pressure. I can't think of anything else that could do what my presence did. You aren't a type green. Her voice trembled. She actually sounded a bit terrified. I still don't know what that means. Could you explain? Dr. Clef has mentioned them a few times, but has never told me what they were. He actually was part of the convoy that brought me to this site, though he was being a bit of an asshole. He refused to talk to me and glared at me the whole ride. If he didn't want his dem uniform destroyed, he should have made it better. I am very sorry, sir. I didn't know what you were. I need to leave. Goodbye. They still haven't told me what a fucking type green is. With a sigh, I laid down on my bed and started feeling my own space. I knew what space felt like. I had gotten accustomed to dominating it already. I wanted to see if I differentiate between what space I occupied, not only physically but also metaphysically. If I did that, maybe I could learn teleportation by mimicking the Ainsworth spell Flash Air. POV, Dr. Aurelia Baldovini. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. We were not dealing with a reality bender. Domingal's crazy theory was actually right. How the hell did that make sense? I rushed out of the observation room and headed to Site 19's director. It would take me a while to get there. But the director had to know this as soon as possible. If one assumed that every site is similar, they would be wrong. Site 19 was not known as the Foundation's special hellhole for nothing. The amount of dangerous SCPs housed here meant that the place had to be better protected. That meant that I had to go through a lot of security checks before I was let in into the director's office. Was I jumping the gun and just assuming he was telling the truth? Was I overthinking and overanalyzing what 12,725 had said? Yes to both questions, but if this was true, new measures had to be implemented to contain 12,725, which gave me time to organize my thoughts before I went and just babbled incoherent words to the director. While regaining some of my breath, I mentally complained about the strict rules the Foundation had inside some of their sites. Running around a maze-like building was not good for a magus' health. I would have used some spells to get here faster and fresher, but I would have probably been flagged as some kind of threat. As I finally entered the director's office, I noted the amount of guards in her office was exponentially higher than what Director Carlyle had. It seems that the rumors of Site 19 being as distrustful and more paranoid of everything were true. Some of the guards even got into prepared stances when they saw me walk into the office. They really did not take any chances here, huh? Director Moose, I calmly addressed the woman on the big chair and desk. I definitely wasn't panting like I was out of breath and just ran a marathon. She hummed a bit before gesturing to me to continue. SCP-12725 is not a type green, nor is it a type red. Omega Cannon. Dr. Clef, are you going to put some ketchup on your fries, or are you just going to glare at it? 'Cause I want some if you wouldn't mind. No. Is it because the ketchup is red and you are mad at that one guy you keep calling red? How dare he ruin my suit? And now, before anyone starts talking about how is it possible for the MC to not know what type green are. I did not know what they were before I started the FIC. Sure, I knew there existed reality benders, but I didn't know they called them type greens. Or that there were reds and blues for that matter. So because this somehow developed into an SI, the MC will not know what I didn't know before I started writing, with some exceptions of course. Also about this. Quote Protog Neptune, Post, 628-0297, Member, 53988. The reason why SCP-682 won't be against Gabriel, Media YouTube VPIRPN VKM8M/Media and Gabriel is not human anymore /quote I have decided to change it a bit for the sake of making the FIC make sense. I know many things do not make sense in the SCP verse, but I don't want my stuff to be explained like I can do this because fuck you and you can't tell me otherwise. If any of y'all finds a spelling mistake, has questions, has some criticism, or whatever, please leave a comment.